No farm work for Aussies. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this article from the New Daily. 1,500 Australians registered for farm work, not one of them got a job. Well, there we go. Now, Sky News is just reporting that tens of thousands of fruit picking jobs in regional North Queensland are going unfilled. At the same time, while there's so many people and businesses being propped up in the tourism industry due to JobKeeper, you think if you're doing casual work in one industry, you could go to another. But in many ways, it's not that simple. So let's have a look at this one. A recruitment company set up at the start of the pandemic to find Australians work on farms has found it impossible to get locals jobs, despite the industry crying out for boots on the ground. So it's a recruitment company. Just bear that in mind, everyone. If you're in business and you have to work through a labor hire company or a recruitment company, you've got to pay them a slice of the pie. If you're a farmer, do you want to do that? Just saying, And they're not, they're not nice guys too. They're middlemen that get this little slice, that little cut. Seems rather dated, really. Considering how, maybe they should just make an app. Maybe there should be a government, competition, an open competition for people to make an app, $10,000 prize, for, innovative ideas to connect the unemployed to farm work, and open it up to the market, run a competition, maybe young, innovative people to enter it. Why not advertise it at universities? Advertise it at, technology hubs and these startups. There you go. Maybe even make the prize a bit bigger. Or $10,000 for a prototype, and then it'll get turned into something real. What do you think? Be an interesting idea. One of the founders of AgriOz, who spoke to the New Daily on the condition of anonymity, okay, you know what? Let's look up. I'm going to do that right now. AgriOz. So I found their website here. There's not much to identify them. I found the business on LinkedIn, and it looks like it's a one-person business based in Melbourne, Victoria. Now, you can pretty easily find out who's running it. I'll let you do that on your own, but he wants to remain anonymous. But the guy's a project manager with experience in Telstra, the NBN, and other things like that. So it could be that this is, an attempt to try and get a business up and running in a sector that he's probably maybe a little bit new at too. So I can't imagine a Queensland farmer would want to be dealing with a Victorian recruitment agency. Tell me if I'm off the mark there, guys. Would you be happy to deal with, brand new business, interstate, with a whole bunch of people that may not even have their tickets? Or I guess for fruit picking, do you need it? What am I kidding? I bet you there'll be like a certificate one in picking a strawberry. I bet you, and that'll be a huge government training program and will be rolled out. I'm only half joking because I'm scared that may actually come back to haunt me, and they may do that. The New Daily also revealed that many labour hire companies for the agricultural sector are advertising positions exclusively for backpackers, leaving unemployed Australians who say they are happy to work for fair pay out in the cold. Now, this is the issue. This is the issue right here. What's fair pay? What's fair pay? Is fair pay what the union says is fair pay? Is fair pay what the union-controlled media, which is what we're reading here, it's super controlled, guys. New Daily was started as a super funded newsletter. Just bear that in mind. Or is it what the market decides? This is the problem of when you have artificial interventions into the market. You're going to get people that say, well, no, why should I work for that when I can get, that's below minimum wage in this other job? Or I can get more on Job Seeker with the increased money. People are not stupid. People are not generally lazy. One of the issues I think you're going to see, because they want the backpackers, because, the backpackers may put up with a bit more crap. They're happier just to get the money, and it's part of a journey and an adventure. And people tend to, there's this stereotype of the lazy Aussie, particularly from a lot of foreigners. I think it's a cultural issue. Because Australians, we generally will work very hard. Very bloody hard. But then we will party just as hard. When work finishes, you'll go out there, switch off, have some beers, relax. We had this in my business. We had a young gentleman from South Korea, and it was quite a cultural difference. We told him, because he'd just stay back and work just to show how committed he was. And we're going, no, that's kind of terrible, mate. What you want to do, we want you to get the work done within the time. If you work beyond that time, it means you're not working efficiently. It's a sign of incompetence. It's a cultural difference. It's not just about showing FaceTime in front of the boss to work yourself to death. That doesn't matter. So that was interesting. So you see that there are these cultural differences, and I wonder if the farmers are experiencing that, or maybe they just don't want to go through labour hire companies for these type of jobs, paying a middleman. But we'll have a look at an example of a terrible fruit picking job as well, that really just shows you what some of these farmers are expecting. Agri Australia had more than 1,500 applicants for farm work, but was unable to secure even one of them a job due to farmers' preference for foreign workers, and the firm's co-founder told the New Daily, well, mate, you're not doing very good there in your business. If you got 1,500 of them and can't find a job, you got to try something else, try another strategy. We got 1,500 applicants from people desperate for farm work in 3 days. He said 3 days. We started making contact with farmers to gauge if they wanted people to go out. He said they had tried farms across Victoria, New South Wales and Queensland, but as soon as employers heard the job seekers were Australian citizens, all interest died. Well, could it be because, the Australians are used to better conditions that they make it out there? What do you reckon, everyone? I had mates who were fruit picking. They'd used to do it around here, What we've been finding is the moment you say you want to get an Aussie a job, the farmer doesn't want to listen, he said. We did a bit of digging around and why the farmers said, 1, they're lazy, and 2, we have to pay them. Well, are they lazy, guys? Is that the stereotype? I've applied and been out to farms myself. The moment you say you're a citizen, you don't get a response whatsoever. The pandemic has thrown Australia's fruit and vegetable picking industry into crisis, with an expected worker shortage by March of 26,000 people, and billions of dollars of produce at risk of being wasted if it can't be picked. Despite this, a growing cohort of locals are struggling to get work, and the Farm Workers Union has told the New Daily that growers' preference is to employ cheap, easily exploitable foreigners over locals, and the industry needs to be cleaned up. Oh, that's just what we need. Work 6 days a week and various pay slips and documents are provided for second, third visas are eligible. Working holiday makers only. So, hang on, I need to jump back up here. There are berry blocks with tunnels, so you can work even on rainy days. Okay, cool. Some labour hire companies are looking for backpackers only. Currently, labour hire companies across the country are advertising for positions, some of them specifically stating they will only employ backpackers, working holiday makers only, several job ads say, while others specify that candidates must have a WHV visa to apply. Following a previous report by the New Daily which revealed that job seeker Lucas Muir had been rejected for 20 farm jobs, the government announced it had teamed up with the National Farmers Federation to deliver a $6,000 incentive for anyone willing to take a job in the country. But Australians looking for farm jobs said it would do little good if farmers refused to hire them. The United Workers Union Farmers Director, Jeanette Armstrong, said conditions across the horticultural industry remained poor. To clean up the sector, Ms. Armstrong listed the key things that needed to be done. Support existing horticultural workers, invest in our growing regions to make sure there is adequate infrastructure, and end the exploitation of undocumented workers in the industry. Supermarkets also have an important role to play, she said. They're the biggest retailers of the fresh fruit and vegetables grown in Australia and must take greater responsibility for leading change, demand, and ensuring responsible employment practices and humane treatment of workers in the supply chain. Now, so there we have it. We've got the farmers calling the Australians lazy, and we've got the Australians and the unions saying there needs to be drastic change. Could it be, here's an argument, could it be that the wages are too high? That people's expectations for getting paid for a full day's work and then overtime and penalty rates are going to mean that the viability of doing this work isn't going to stack up. That's never mentioned anywhere, is it? But, let's have a look at one of these job adverts that I've shown before in a previous video that shows you why they may not want to have people, Australians. This is from a Bundaberg job vacancies site. So, next time you see someone on the news complaining that they can't get workers and that Australians are too lazy, this is one reason. In the Bundaberg area, most or all, of these jobs are at slave wages. Okay, and so this is bullshit. Guys, this is not slave wages. You need to get out of this expectation. A slave doesn't get paid anything. They just get food and accommodation, and they've got no freedom. Okay? Getting paid a little bit less than you think you're worth isn't slavery. Gotta get off your high horse, everyone. All of us are like it. I've done it. I'm in small business, guys. I've worked on some jobs for bugger all because you have to. Okay? It's part of life. It happens. Deal with it. So that type of rhetoric, it sits me the wrong way. That screams of entitlement when you look at the fact that there is actual slavery going on here in Queensland. There was a case of, what was it? I think an Indian couple working for the public service had brought over someone from Fiji, taken their passport and made them to be a house worker, unpaid for years. And you find it more and more and more. It's all these. It happens to be most likely from people, cultures where there's much more of a class divide, and they're not used to doing all the housework themselves. That's real. That's happening in Australia. It's never discussed. So, you have to live in their accommodation. What local in their right mind would do it? And that's insane. That's just the stupid thing right there. He's right. That's just crazy. I applied for a job a year or two back as a truck driver for a local farm. Shit money and had 12 hours per day every day all year. Is that even legal? Well, if you get paid per hour and you need the job, you're going to do it. The post on this job site drew so much ire from the locals that it's been removed. So here we go. Looking for 30 fit and healthy people to hand-pick tomatoes. Work will be done while sitting on a machine, so most of the work will be done with your upper body. First day of work will be on October the 5th, unless noted otherwise. The job is a group contract work and can guarantee a minimum of $140 per day per person. The work hours are 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day. You are required to stay in our accommodation during your employment. You must work a minimum of 3 weeks. For the applicants willing to commit, the first week rent will be free. The second week rent will be half at $70, and the third week onwards it will be $140 per week per person. I mean, see, this is the thing. They should be giving them the rent for free if they want to attract people. They should be giving them the rent for free, but they want to make the little money off it too. It reduces their costs. So you'd be working 1 day a week, 7 days, so 1/7 of your week to pay for your rent there. Do they provide food? Is that included? That'd be good if it was. I doubt it isn't mentioned here. You think it would. So let's assume it isn't. So what do you think, everyone? So it's a minimum of $140 a day. More if you can pick more. So if you can work harder and pick more. I've never done it. I don't know if I'd enjoy it very much. But, bloody hell, if it was between this and losing my house or my kids going hungry, you know what I'd do. I'd go out there and work. But if you've got a house and you have to pay rent on a house and then you have to pay rent on there, and if it's literally just up the road from where you live, it's insane expecting people to work on their accommodation. You know why? I'm assuming it's because they want to make sure everyone's out and ready at 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. Boom, so you can get there. So what do you think? Probably for a city worker, it may not be too bad. You could go up there and work a little bit and come down. So here we have it, guys. We've got an example of a job that isn't too stellar. Minimum of $140 a day. What's that a week? What's that? 980? 140 times 7. Yeah, there we go. 980, guys. Which is still far off the the ABS average weekly earnings, full-time adults, ordinary time, seasonally adjusted, of $1,713, but it isn't a highly skilled job. A lot of the workers that are moving around, all the shearers, that's a very highly skilled job. That's very different to fruit picking. So what do you think, everyone? What do you reckon? What's your take on it? Do you think it's the farmers not wanting to take on the Australians? Do you think it's because they can more easily exploit the foreign workers, the students, fruit pickers? Do you think it's because they want to do it all cash? You know, I doubt it. Well, you never know. You never know. Or could it be a sign that, well, the artificial interventions in the market mean that it's cheaper for them to let the stuff rot in the ground sometimes than pay locals to do it? What do you reckon? What if in these special economic regions we drop the minimum wage? You know, and then if you work there, no matter how much you earned for a fruit picking season, all of it was tax free. What do you reckon? That'd be an incentive. That'd get people out there. They'd be happily doing it for $150 a day if they didn't pay any tax on it. And then you might get more. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one, guys. I think there's no easy answers. I think you're going to see arguments from both sides. I'm concerned that there are going to be more and more calls for regulation and intervention, and then that will increase food costs. That's what's going to happen. You know? But then again, since I eat very little fruit and vegetables, as primarily on a ketovore diet, it's not going to affect me much. And I'll go to a shop where I get all the Pinelands up here in Sunnybank, all the real cheap fruit and veg, all the, the stuff that doesn't look pretty. That's where you go. You want to get the ugly fruit because it's cheap. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Have you worked on farm trying to get fruit picking? Have you just found it's just terrible work, or do they just treat you like crap? And are you a farmer, can't find anyone to work for you, or is just the attitude too much? As always, let me know your thoughts, opinions down below. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy a merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.